everybody, and welcome back to Indie Chat with James Berberich. I'm James Berberich, your host, and I'm with guest Matt Sharpe. How are you doing today?
Oh, great, James. Thanks for having me on. Doing just fine.
That's good. Glad to have you on the show here. So let's get into it and talk about what got you into filmmaking.
Oh, okay. Well, going back to high school, I started doing a class called video production, and that's when I actually started getting into acting because I was doing more of the on-screen portions of the class. We had basically a mock production company in my high school, so it was kind of like the drama, but we weren't using a stage. We were learning how to use cameras and lights and stuff like that.
Okay, that's very cool.
Yeah, went to college and I took a practicum in theater. I didn't major in theater, but I took a practicum in it. And
Okay.
After I graduated, I just started doing local, just floating my headshot and resume out there and just doing local, getting whatever I could on these indie projects and building a network within Northern Virginia and DC and Maryland acting community for the past 10 years.
You've been in it that long? 10 years you've been in it?
Yeah, I mean, one of my first gigs was back in 2010. I was doing a crime recreation show, it was, Civil War. One of those. Okay. And I that was my first gig. Just working background and extra.
Okay.
First paid gig too.
Oh wow! Wait, that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, back then I was a background extra myself, and John Adams is like the first thing I did.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So, what have you been working on recently?
Well, just like most people, the COVID situation kind of put a damper on our plans for the year. But things are actually starting to pick up again a little bit for me. Right before the lockdown hit, right before the pandemic hit, probably my biggest gig to date got released, and I was in a music video for a heavy metal called Lamb of God. And,
yeah, we know who that is. That's a pretty big band.
yeah. So I got cast in that in February, and then we shot in February, and then it got released right when the lockdown hit. And so in between then and now, I've been working on this crazy slasher film that's being shot in Virginia. It's called Bloody Summer Camp.
Right.
It's a period piece. It's a throwback to the 1980s slashers, like Friday the 13th, Jason, all that stuff. And it's like a love letter to that genre. We were a year in filming that, and we just wrapped production on that 1 week ago. And then I shot a horror short with this team that I've been working on projects for the past 4 years now. I've done 6 projects with them.
Dang.
It's a horror short, and then I'm going to be working on a student film down on Liberty University in October.
All right, staying busy.
Trying to. It was rough going for those 2 or 3 months.
It's understandable.
Plans.
Everybody was going through that.
Yeah, but we're optimistic, trying to get back in the game.
Yeah, we all are. I was like, it's time to. Hopefully, we can get something going. But you're glad you're able to stay busy and working on movies and everything.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. So, what's kind of like the next project you're working on? Is there anything already lined up for you?
Well, and this is another ongoing thing. I am in the process of working with a team. This is the team I just mentioned. They all come out of JMU, and that's where I went, was JMU.
Oh, okay.
Working with a team to get a short that we shot back in 2018 made into a full-length feature. And we're trying to go for a $50K to $70K budget for this thing.
Wow. All right.
So that is on the forefront. Now we're miles away from principal photography, and we lost a lot of ground that we had covered because of COVID. But that's what's coming up for me. I am going to be working on a Batman fan film.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, in October.
Okay.
And, I think Aaron Angus is involved in that.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, that's Steve James's Batman project.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, so I'm going to be working on that in October.
Oh, okay.
And then I got cast in that student film, and that's going to be a challenging one for me because I actually have to play a paraplegic, so I'm going to be in a wheelchair the entire one. Yeah, so it's going to be a drama piece. That is if the university doesn't get shut down between then and now.
Hopefully not, but we'll see how things go.
Yeah, and I got a couple auditions and some self tapes floating out, so we're gonna see what goes on with that.
Right.
And so I things are picking up slowly, but
I can tell.
We'll see how they go.
Slowly getting back into the groove of it.
Yeah.
But I think I'll be doing at least one project this fall, hopefully, and one maybe in the springtime. Cool. And you'll probably be in one of them.
Awesome, man. Well, yeah, dude, as we're working with you guys, that was awesome. That was such a fun shoot. Oh, I've worked on 2 of your projects now.
Yes, you have now, yeah.
Yeah, so well, very cool, man. I'm glad to see that you're coming out on the other side good.
Yeah, I just been busy in my cave writing.
Cave.
Yeah, that's all I've been doing. Crazy amounts of writing. Just waiting for everything to open up, and I'm like, I got all my stuff.
Yeah, it's like floodgates are open. Everyone wants to, like, production. That's what I thought was going to be going on. Like, nobody's allowed to go to set. Nobody's allowed to build up production or anything like that. But the moment that one person does, everyone's going to start going out there. And and we're being as safe as we possibly can.
Right. Yeah. That's what you got to do.
Yeah, and so I've been tested 3 times now.
Wow. Okay, that's glad you're on an extremely safe set like that, or you have that.
Yeah, just for different projects.
Right.
But I got an industrial gig where it was just it was a paid gig, but it was a high budget, and this was just for like the Navy SEALs Foundation. It was a PS basically. Yeah, and they were serious. They didn't take us into holding. They didn't take us on the set. They made us sit in our cars. We did makeup and wardrobe out of our cars in the parking lot.
Wow.
Go in the building.
Mm-hmm.
It was time to go to set. We were in a room for maybe about 3 minutes. They put us in front of the camera. We did our thing, filmed for 15 minutes. They gave us our paychecks, and then they said, "All right, you're out." I was on that job for an hour.
Wow.
Maybe a little less.
Huh.
So that's how crazy it is on these big budget things. But
yeah, that's how it's got to go for right now.
Yeah.
All right, so now we're getting into the portion where I like to call this my top 3. So we're gonna start off with your 3 favorite actors.
3 favorite
actors or actresses? Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Oh man, this is. So one of my favorite actors is also going to be in one of my favorite movies. Well, probably more than one. But I'm going to say Humphrey Bogart. Okay.
Humphrey Bogart.
Yeah, because I think he is just like the coolest motherfucker. Can I curse on here? I don't know if I can curse on here.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah. So I always, when he plays Rick Blaine in Casablanca, I mean that's. That's a dude that has swagger. I don't think anyone has ever been able to top that in any role. Or maybe they built on what he did there. So Humphrey Bogart. I gotta hand it to there's so many. Cliche answer would be Daniel Day-Lewis. That would be a cliche answer. Or De Niro. I will say De Niro.
Okay.
Is definitely one.
Yes.
I'll go ahead and say this. I'm not saying this person is the best actor from a technical standpoint or for technique or whatever.
Yeah.
My favorite actor in any role of all time has been James Gandolfini in The Sopranos. And
okay.
Yeah, so and he doesn't have a huge body of work. I mean, everyone knows him as The Sopranos. Yeah. He doesn't have a huge body of work with other films or other TV shows.
Mm-hmm.
I would say my favorite role ever portrayed by somebody is James Gandolfini as Tony Soprano.
Yeah.
That's my favorite.
It's It's a great role there.
Yeah.
All right. So, what would be your 3 favorite movies now?
3 favorite movies. Okay. So I'm going to go with the. Now you and I both know that our favorite movies, we could probably fill a phone book with our.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
But ones that I usually like to say.
Yeah.
Number 1 is Vertigo.
Vertigo. Yeah.
Yeah, that is probably that's one of the first movies that I watched when I guess you would consider that an older movie. You know, I grew up watching 80s and 90s movies, and I had no interest in watching older movies because I thought it'd be boring and lame. And then little did I know that that's when movies were actually. That's the movies we watch today were built on from prior times. So yeah, Vertigo. My second one is okay, so the cliche answer, I talked about Humphrey Bogart. I got to go with Casablanca.
Yeah.
Casablanca, I believe, is one of the best screenplays ever written.
It's probably one of the most quoted movies of all time.
Right, exactly. And not the quotes that everyone thinks about too. If you watch that movie again. Every single line has subtext to it. Every single line. And every single line has a purpose. Like one of the things they tell screenwriters is don't write dialogue where that doesn't need to be. Start the scene late and get out early. So every single line in there has a purpose and has to be there. And like you said, it's instantly quotable. And not just the cliche quotes from that.
Right.
Everything.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the best screenplays ever written.
No, it is. It's one heck of a great one. For sure.
Yeah. And then I'm looking at my movie shelf right now, and I'm like, I've got to be leaving off one of these. I'm like, oh man. Another one that I have to say is probably. I'm going to go ahead and throw Heat in there.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Heat is a great one. Because
I love Michael Mann.
He's actually probably my top 3 directors of all time.
Yeah. And the first one I saw of his was Last of the Mohicans. And
okay.
That blew me away. And then he made Heat, which I didn't see until, I saw Last of the Mohicans when it came out. It came out in like 1990, and I was 6 years old. So I saw that, and then I saw Heat like several years later. Yeah, but I love Michael Mann.
Yeah.
I know that I'm missing some huge ones.
Well, you've answered the 3, but if you want to
Yeah. Well, no, it's funny. I'm actually looking around, and I have a movie poster on my wall over there from the movie It Follows, because I'm a huge horror fan too.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm a huge horror fan.
Right.
But that's an entire different category of movies for me. I've got my favorite movies and my favorite horror movies. That's I divide the subgenres, and I give it a different thing. So
all right.
That's what I would say.
Okay. And then 3 things you would recommend to upcoming people that want to get into the industry.
Okay, so let's say screen acting. Let's say
definitely. Yeah.
Okay. So, okay. So first thing I would do is go ahead and start enrolling in some acting classes. That's something that I kind of did because I did it in high school, and I did drama in high school. I did my theater practicum when I was in undergrad. I didn't really do it on a formal level when I was in the industry, when I was actually starting to go out and get gigs and stuff like that.
Okay.
When you go into acting classes, all right, the whole point is to develop your crafts to make you marketable for other people looking to hire you.
Right.
Also, that's how you develop your network. I've met people in workshops that I go to that you're doing scene studies with them, and those are the people who are going to recommend you or ask to work with you on other projects, and you met in class.
Right.
Another piece of advice that I would tell actors is if you're afraid to suck, if you're afraid to bomb, if you're afraid to fail or bomb an audition or blow a monologue or flub a line, then you probably can't be in this industry, because you cannot be afraid to suck.
Yeah, no.
If you want to be a good actor, you have to be willing to be a bad actor.
Yeah.
And they tell us, the comedians, all the time. They say the top comedians in the world, the best comedians of all time, all have stories about when they bombed in clubs or when they booed off stage.
Right.
And acting is no different. So I've gone to so many workshops and classes where I was the weakest link, and still do. I mean, so you can't be afraid to suck.
Well, you're a talented actor. You can definitely see you've gone through it.
Yeah, well, it's a finish line you never cross.
No, yeah.
Yeah, and you're always looking to develop your technique and work with more tools in your toolbox and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I do look back on my past stuff, and you see some improvements, and that's kind of the encouragement to keep going. So, so that's my second piece of advice. And my third piece of advice is understand what you have in control when you're on a job. And what I mean by that is, if you're starting out and you're starting to get to the point where you're getting on projects, you're getting cast and things, and you're going to be giving the call sheets and showing up on set and stuff like that. And if you're unsure of your talent, your level of talent, or if you're unsure of yourself, like in the role or whatever, or, nerves always kick in for me. You can't control your talent, but you can control showing up on time, having a good attitude, being off book, asking questions, talking to the director, being able to communicate with. You can control all those things. So if you get that part down, you'd be surprised about how much just being there and doing things that are technically right, or what's expected of you, and that type of thing, and even having a positive attitude, that's going to affect you a lot when you're actually there to do what you have to do.
Yeah, definitely great advice. So everybody listening at home, definitely take that advice. So Matt, thanks for being on the show. Glad to have you on here. Amazing job. Glad to see you're working on your projects and everything's working out for you.
Yeah, you as well, sir. It was great seeing you. You through the screen here, and hopefully we'll be back on set one day soon.
Oh yeah, definitely, for sure.